I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't an easy way out. Hey, baby, I won't back down.
Guys, it's Lemire again, and I'm in the hospital, but I just want to know, I love you guys, and I love the hard work you've been doing. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for doing a good job, for doing hard work for me.
Wait, is this the part where I go, yo, 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 what's up, Freedom fan?
That video is heavy for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have told me that was going to happen, because I was like, I'm sitting here like, oh my God, I'm going to start crying before the show.
I know. I warned Ant, and I forgot to warn you. I forgot about it until.
Well, I got to pre-screen that, so I cried already.
Yeah,
you got it out. That's good.
We all got it out before the show. So as you guys know, we are currently encouraging donations for Lemire once again. We came to you guys 10 months ago. We're coming to you again now because it's been 10 months. So things happen and money's still needed and things are still whatever. Lemire is currently back in the hospital now. He is still waiting on his heart transplant. That little tater tot is a badass, as always. We do have the Cash App scrolling along the bottom, and it was also in the video. So if you guys are so inclined, please donate. If not, then share. With that being said, Adam, the fuck's up?
How's it going, y'all? This is awesome. I'm so glad. I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. We've been talking behind the scenes, about this, and this is the first formal sit-down conversation like this that I've ever done. So I'm excited. I've only really ever done TikTok lives type things. So yes, I am wearing the Superman shirt. Kat made the video, so I haven't seen Ant in a while, and he loved my Superman videos, so I thought I'd wear the shirt. So. But yeah, I've been looking forward to this. I really appreciate you guys having me on, and it's nice.
Retro.
I'm having some slowdowns too, though.
Yeah, I think it's I'm okay through here, but there's a reverb too. Oh, we got you back. We got you back. Can you hear us, Adam?
No.
No, it's okay. You know what? It's probably a phone call. You know how that goes when we bother you.
Yeah, well, that's why I stopped doing it on my phone.
Yeah. We were bothered.
While we have this little minute in between while Adam's gone. So Adam quickly became what here he is. We can bring him back in now.
He's back.
There you go.
I don't know what's going on, but there's audio and video issues. So I backed out and came back in.
Yeah, there's there's a humming. I think it might be the headphones. I'm not sure. It wasn't doing that before we went live. So sorry, guys. So sorry. What were you? So Ant, what were you saying?
I was gonna say Adam quickly became one of my favorite content creators. We can't hear you at all now. Oh wait, his mic is off. Hold on. Oh.
Yeah. It's okay. We'll get it. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening.
Yeah, quickly became one of my favorite content creators on TikTok, and I've got to see him grow through social media, and I absolutely love it. I love him. I love everything about him. Well, he knows that.
Yeah, he knows. He knows how loved he is. Are you kidding me?
I definitely look up to him, and this is super important. It's a super important month. Not that autism is not always important, but it's an important month because it brings awareness to autism. I think we have had conversations. Awesome.
I think we're good now.
I think we are.
Can you hear us, Adam?
I can hear y'all, but I'm getting all kind of rattle and feedback in the speaker, so I don't know what's going on, but I'm going to try and make the best of it. I can hear you better than I could a minute ago. So,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
I don't know if it's on my end or not. I've tried to. I reset my browser and came back in, so I'm not quite sure. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened.
your audio is kind of
Okay.
choppy, but like I said, we can make the best of it. We can make do.
100%. So what we were saying, Adam, is that Autism Awareness Month is an important month. It's important year long, but bringing awareness to it during this month, a lot of people don't know much about it unless they have somebody that they're directly associated with, or have a child, or have a partner that has autism. So I know that there's a lot of different spectrums of autism. Kat, you have an autistic kid.
Yeah. So I have a little peanut who is on the spectrum. We were lucky. We got very, very early intervention for her. So she was actually diagnosed two
Okay.
years old, which is really critically important to, start ABA and to start speech therapy. And with Elise, she used a PEC system for a good chunk of her younger, which was just pictures. And she would point, or she would sign. She wasn't doing well with speech. And now she doesn't stop talking. It's just so it's really crazy, but to me it's been a gift, and I don't know if that sounds horrible or not, but like it's been a gift as just a human to kind of see things the way that she sees them. And I think that that's what I try to do as best as I can with her, is to get down on her level and to actually have her explain it to me. I don't understand what you see. My brain doesn't work like yours. So I need to understand the way that you're seeing things and the way that your brain works in order to, be a good mom or just be supportive. But yeah, it's an adventure having a kiddo on the spectrum. I can't
Hey,
hear
Kat,
it.
I really hate to have to do this, but I'm going to back out again and try and reset my phone and see if it fixes the audio, because it's still really choppy on
Yeah,
my side.
you're
So
okay.
I'll
Third time's the charm. Adam, it's fine. Third time's the charm. This is just like a TikTok live. I don't want to put too much pressure on himself because it's a podcast as opposed to a TikTok live, but it's really the same thing.
Yeah.
Just
So
different.
I actually was first aware
Mhm.
of autism. There was a really great show that aired probably 5 years ago. Maybe it was the Doctor. It was that
Yeah.
young kid that was a doctor. He played in Bates Motel. I can't remember what it was called.
It was called The Doctor, wasn't it?
It could have been, yeah. If anybody
I don't know what
remembers.
it's called.
And I didn't realize that there were different spectrums, and that
Mhm.
was why he was so intelligent, because what he had made him
Good doctor.
a good doctor. Thank you so much, Britt. What the type of autism he had was, he was able to picture things in his minds that healed people, and that was amazing. And then when I was a manager working at Men's Warehouse, which I had worked for 15 years. I
Mhm.
had acquired a store, and I had also acquired an autistic part-timer.
A
And
little under a year. Sorry.
no, that's fine. And that was the second time that I was shown a different spectrum.
Mhm.
And he was super hyper focused on making sure that the store was always organized. And I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, there's different types. And then I met Adam, and I'm like, this is a different. So, and then of course I know your daughter, and you can't. I'm going to speak.
I'm done with you. I can't with you.
Follow Fathering Autism on YouTube to learn more. Oh, that's great.
Yep, that is a good account to follow. It definitely is.
Hold on, keep that up for a second.
See, I knew nothing really before Elise. I have a girlfriend of mine, and her little boy is also on the spectrum, but he also has cerebral palsy, and he also has ADHD, and there was other components with him. So I remember when Allie was diagnosed, it did scare me because I know that, you know, I don't know where she's going to lay. You know, is she going to lay here? Is she going to lay here? I mean, you can range anywhere from completely nonverbal. And that was like my worst fear, where Elise fits more on like the Asperger. Yeah. The Elise falls more on the Asperger's level. Like she talks, she gives you eye contact.
So what's the difference? What's the difference?
The difference is just like levels of limitations, essentially. You know, like you can, like there's kiddos who don't talk ever. They just never talk. They never look you in the eyes. You know, I mean, I remember because I was so scared that I was never going to like get to hear that she like loved me or call me mom. And, you know, then it was, you know, it was a struggle because even still, you know, like her little brother still excels sometimes a little bit more than her. But it's just like this huge world, and they're all so different.
Yeah.
That like I don't even know how to explain it. I don't think that anybody knows how to explain it. And I mean, Adam might be able to give us a better take, like once he's able to get in and everything is, you know, up and going. But from what I can, you know, gather, it's more of just like levels of limitations.
Much better. I'm on my laptop now. My phone would not work. I'm so sorry. It worked fine, and then we go live and
okay, and don't stress out because this is legit just like a TikTok live. It really is. It's on a different platform where we won't get mass reported.
But perfect opportunity for me to kind of like jump in. I'm not quite sure what you guys are talking about, but like this is a thing.
So let's
minor annoyances like this get to me because it's frustrating, right? It worked when we were in the waiting room. And then as soon as you click the button and take us live, it goes out, and I'm frustrated. And
yeah, and we were actually, Adam, you're right. It is a perfect timing because we were talking about when I had first been introduced to it, because I had not enough information on it. And I said that one of the shows that were on TV that I loved was The Good Doctor. Don't know if you had.
I've heard of it, but I've not watched it. Hi, Taryn.
I just love that we all love Taryn so much.
I've heard it. I've heard of The Good Doctor, but I've not watched it. So I'm like surface level familiar that it does touch on autism.
What I think is, and what I think is great about that is it did open up a lot of Americans' eyes to, okay, this is a thing. Like this guy, he's super smart. He ends up being a surgeon, but yeah, there's different spectrums. So that's what we're talking about. There's different spectrums, and that's where we left off.
Okay. But it is very true. It affects everyone differently. No, if the popular saying is, if you've met one person with autism, you've met one person with autism. It's just not fair. It's not, I don't know. It's not right to say that, you know, the way I present is the way that everybody else will present, right? Like I get a lot of comments on my videos. In fact, within the last 24 to 48 hours, I've put out a lot of autism related content. And I've gotten a lot of feedback that, you know, I'm an inspiration. People look at me and see my ability to function in certain ways. And it gives them hope. And I love that. But at the same time, I think it's important to stay grounded and remember that just because I'm well-spoken, just because I'm okay making eye contact, just because my struggles are different doesn't mean that I don't have struggles.
Good
point. Right? That is one of the biggest things that I've tried to push on my platform. You guys have been mutuals with me, and you've interacted with my content for a long time. So you guys are familiar with my view on, you know, I'm glad I'm an inspiration, but, you know, take me with a grain of salt. You know, there's another creator on TikTok who was a big inspiration for me. the Corey Singer. His handle is the Corey Singer. He's a great vocalist. He's an amazing singer. I am not. He's great in that environment. I am not. You know,
and people always ask me, like, with Elise, they're like, so she can do like math really good, right? Like that guy when you like drop things on the ground. And I'm like, no, or this
Right.
one. She doesn't look autistic. My favorite response always to that is, it's the way I dress her. Hides it. Like, I mean, and that's what I
Oh
say
my
to
God, that is
people.
perfect. I love
If
that.
people ever say it to me, that is always my response is, it's the way I dress her. You know, it's
Right.
the most ignorant thing to say on the planet.
Well, and that's the thing too, is Adam, I don't think you were in here yet, but so the second time I was introduced to somebody, I was a store manager for a company, and I had acquired a store that had a part-timer who was autistic.
Okay.
But he was hyper focused on making sure the store was clean. So I had to learn him. I had to learn that as a manager, like, this is my first time having somebody like this. Like, I wanted to be empathetic to what he wanted. So what I did when he came in every day is I was like, hey, buddy, what do you want to do today? And he's like, I really would like to fold the shirts on all these tables. And I'm like, awesome. And once in a while,
Knock it out.
yeah, I once in a while I walk over. I'm like, dude, this is like, you're doing an awesome job. He's like, thank you, and then he'd move on. But he was so great at it. Like, he was so great.
Right, exactly, and that tends to be the case with many autistic people, at least that I've met. And
that's kind of a similarity that that everybody has with that. Yeah, is that like a really common thing? Like the one hyper.
It's like, if you give us a job to do, like, we'll be perfect at it. Like one thing that has always stuck with me is the phrase do one thing and do it well.
Mm-hmm.
That's me, right? If you give me many things to do, I'm going to perfect. Like, if you give me 3 different jobs, right? If I was your employee and you said, Adam, you got to do this, this, and this. One thing is going to be perfect and blow you away. One thing is going to be kind of nah, and then one thing is probably going to be ignored or just fail completely, right? I'm good when you give me one thing to focus on, and then I can shift to another and shift to another and another. But expecting 3 things to be completed at an equal, acceptable level simultaneously is probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's the common. Would you say that would maybe be the common thing in most?
Well, I mean,
in different ways.
Right, in different ways. Hyperfocus can be a strength and can be a weakness, right? Because we can get lost in ourselves. We can just get completely lost in the one thing that we're perfecting, right? That one job that you gave him to do, right? He may not have been able to see anything else but that one job.
Yeah.
Even if there were things around him that needed to be done, he may just be like this. This is just the one thing, the horse with blinders on, right? And everything else is ignored.
Throw into account, what if something happens to where then, you have to be interrupted during that task.
And it was a retail setting, so he would get interrupted.
Right. Because I know that like when my daughter was little, like it was anger of which the likes I'd never seen. I mean, just complete and utter hysterics because she had to finish what she was doing, or she couldn't. She couldn't disconnect.
And that's interesting because what Cole would do a customer would come in like a pickup or something, like, hey, I'm picking up my stuff, but they'd go right to Cole because nobody was around and he was there. So they don't know. They just see him as an employee in the store.
Right.
And he would get like, I would see him from across the store, and I kind of not babied him, but like he was kind of like my kid. So I was like, oh shit, Cole in distress. So I would like go to the other side of the store. I'm like, what's up, bud? And he's like, somebody has a pickup, and I'm like, that's okay. Continue doing your project. I got it. I would grab it from him, and I would go, and we would move on.
Right.
And I sometimes have to explain to the customer because they're looking at him like, what's up? And I was like,
people are dicks.
The people are assholes. I'm like, it's just a hard situation.
Right. Going back to what Kat said about like finishing one thing and, or having task interruption. I actually was reading about this the other day, and it is very discomforting, to be polite, right? It is very jarring to be in the middle of something that you are a horse with the blinders on about, and to be broken away from that thing, to have your focus just completely broken and shifted to something new or different. It can be very, very frustrating to people with autism, because we're very much that do one thing, do it well. I'm focused on this one thing right now. I'm not focused on, I'm focused on what's important to me, not what's important to you in this particular moment.
Well, and the word frustrated for you means something so much different than the word frustrated for me.
Right. That's the other part of it too, is,
frustrated for somebody that functions like I do. It's okay. It's like a minor inconvenience. Ugh, this is so annoying. Like, bleh. But if for me, at least with Elise, when I notice it, like frustrated it's a whole different, different term.
It's something different entirely. Right.
It's completely disheveled your life. It's your anxiety is so high that you can't function. You can't pay attention to anything else. Like, it far exceeds a normal neuro functioning human being's frustrations.
So,
and I brought this, and I want you to touch on this, Adam, because in my opinion, I don't think ADHD is the same, because people with ADHD, they're all over, like they're just focused on 100 million things. So it's not
well, depending, like between ADHD and ADD, but they're not on the autism spectrum. But you can have autism and have ADHD or ADD, like, combined.
Yes. So they are different conditions. They are different entirely. Like Kat said, you can have both, but even still, again, it's an individual experience, because I do have both. I have ADHD and autism, right? I was diagnosed officially with ADHD when I was 10, and only found out about autism later in life. I've talked about this in videos and my live streams on TikTok.
Right, discovered into your older years was when you had started discovering that you were on the spectrum.
Right. That's correct. And I'll talk about that a little bit later if there's an opportunity. But for this specific topic, I essentially lived the whole of my life only really knowing or believing that I had ADHD and not autism. Right. So, I'm very big on self-educating and learning about just things in general. I love soaking up knowledge and information about different topics, about different things. So I've always been very self-educated when it comes to ADHD. And the first sign that I'm actually autistic happened when I found out I'm autistic. I spent about 15 hours straight falling down the rabbit hole, learning about autism, reading articles, just learning everything I could. And it's like, that's probably a clue. That's probably a clue, Adam.
Was it scary for you to read it, or was it almost comforting for you to read it?
I mean, in a way, it kind of was, because I didn't know anything about autism. Like, literally nothing. It was just not a thing for me. I didn't know anybody that had autism. And admittedly, there's preconceived notions of what autism is and what it looks like and sounds like and the stigmas surrounding it. I mean, that's unavoidable. It's unfortunate, but it is unavoidable. It is just, it's one of those things that is the way it is, and creating awareness and creating these conversations is an effort to change that.
Right.
And that was the biggest part of doing this with you guys tonight, was to aid in shifting that conversation away from what it looks like, what it sounds like, and that it affects us all differently.
That kind of goes into like a comment like this, where, you know, she said that her child is high functioning, but because he doesn't have the violent behavior, he doesn't get shit for help at school. And I'm feeling like I'm starting to run into this problem because Elise is like overly loving. Like she's very, very compassionate. She's
very, very affectionate. Is she touchy or is she?
No.
Okay.
No. Like when she's sick, she'll come and hug on me. If dad's not around. But if she's sick, she wants dad. And that's it. And that's who she'll let kind of cuddle her. But if she's not, it's like a side hug before you go to bed. It's like a quick kiss. But she's very she's extremely social with adults.
Which is not a typical trait of a child with autism.
It is not. And she makes beautiful eye contact. Now, I have noticed that the eye contact is starting to drift a little bit more these days than normal. We are starting to get some pretty big anger issues.
Right.
She's starting to get the anger. But
and see, this is another
outburst with school. It's so frustrating with the schools. But
this is another unfortunate part of the presentation of autism and how it presents with different people. It has become prevalent that we must be violent or must be uncontrollable behavior.
Can't talk.
You can't talk. You can't make eye contact. You can't, you know, right. You have to visibly stim by flapping your arms, moving your legs, moving your body, making unintelligible noises. That is not the case. That is just not the case. That is not how it presents with everyone. But it has become so prevalent that that is the common perception of this condition, that unless you have those things, then you're not autistic.
Right.
In fact, I'm rabbit trailing a little bit, but I watched a video right before I joined in with you guys from another autistic creator on TikTok. And he was talking about sensory issues, you know, being in a grocery store with under bright fluorescent light, being in an environment with a lot of white noise or background noise.
There's actually, if you guys, when you're done watching this episode, if you just go into the search engine and you look up autism experience grocery store and you take your cell phone, they'll tell you to turn off all the lights and put headphones on as loud as it will go. And they've had other people on the spectrum say that like it's the closest thing that they've ever seen to what it's like. And it'll kind of give you an idea of what that's like when you're overstimulated and in a high traffic situation.
What Josh was talking about in his video was how a lot of creators on social media, specifically TikTok, you'll see them, autistic creators, wearing their headphones. Or you know, if they're out in public in a grocery store and they're making a video, they'll have sunglasses on inside. Because the light is so bright, it creates overstimulation, sensory overload. And his content, he was saying that it can create a false impression that you must have sensory issues if you are autistic, because all or most of what we see is autistic people wearing headphones, autistic people wearing sunglasses, autistic people experiencing sensory overload. So it can almost harm the good efforts that they're doing because it creates another false perception that, well, if you're autistic, you must have some kind of overwhelming, you know, sensory sensitivities. And that, again, is not the case. I made a video of being in November.
I'm going to do a live reaction while you talk.
Oh, did you find it?
Yeah.
So in November, November, December-ish, I actually posted a video. I was in Walmart and they had moved everything in the store around. They had moved where items were. They had moved the shelving units. Even they had even like spaced the shelving units further apart.
Mhm.
I was aware that the aisles had been widened
Yeah.
when other people probably wouldn't have been aware of that.
I always notice when they move stuff because that drives me nuts. Like,
Yes.
because I like going in with a plan, you
Right.
know, like, I know where everything is, and I hate people.
I do too.
I kind of do. Like,
So in my video, you know, I was saying how they have taken the structure and the order that I thrive on as someone with autism, right? I thrive on
yeah, Ant
routine.
can't finish it. A lot of people can't finish it.
I thrive on routine. I thrive on structure. I thrive on things being the same. You know,
Yeah, my daughter's like that.
a lot of people in the comments of that video, he can't do it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have the
It's mis-
chills.
yeah,
up my-
it's
I
miserable.
felt so uncomfortable.
So
It's right. It's just a
I'm
very
so
out of
sorry.
your
Oh my
own.
God, I want to cry.
Yeah, it's like an out of your body, like anxious, just yucky feeling. Like I don't know it, but like that's when I watch that, that's how that makes me feel.
I'll have to do that too. That might be that. I'm interested in that now. You'll have to. I'll have to look that up.
It's like a total sensory overload. They say like when you're maxed out, and I've had to pick.
I'm like in tears.
Yeah, like I've had to pick Elise up in the middle of Walmart before, like when she's on the ground, you know, and she's just.
So I made my video, and a lot of the feedback I got in the comments was, well, you can order your groceries online. You can go have it, you can do like the Walmart pickup where you order online and you go and pick it up. You sit in your car, and it's like at the same time though, the whole point of me getting out is to get out. The whole point of me getting out is to force myself out of my comfort zone.
Yes.
Out of my hobbit hole here and get out, get fresh air, do something with myself other than be here in my apartment or sitting in my car.
Right.
So as much as I don't like people, as much as I don't like the social interaction of being there, I do like picking out certain things, my meat, my vegetables, my fruits. I want to pick those things out. I can't do that if I order online. So there's give and take there. It is a good solution. Exactly. I want to feel part of society. I want to actually engage in my own way with people.
Yeah.
I want it on my terms, basically. I'm picky.
Right. But that means that a lot of people are like that, though. So
I understand the solution of, ordering online and things like that. But at the same time, I don't know. It's me. I want to pick certain things out. I want to have that experience. And I don't and haven't for a long time, even before I found out about being autistic. The question was just about, do you wear headphones or sunglasses or whatever? I am one of the people who you will see in Walmart with sunglasses on inside because the fluorescent lights there are just awful.
Yeah.
It's awful for me for some reason. It doesn't hurt. It's not painful. It just bothers me. It's
annoying.
It's like too much information for my vision. It's hard to explain.
It's going to strain your eyes.
Yes. And I don't go anywhere without headphones, my headphones or earplugs. I'll wear earplugs if it's in a very overwhelming, if I know I'm going somewhere that's going to be very, very loud or have lots of background noise or whatever, I'm bringing my earplugs because that's a way for me to kind of protect myself from experiencing sensory overload. Never have makeup on. But yes, I know it looks weird and I truly, I don't care because I'm not doing it to, I'm not wearing sunglasses inside to impress other people. I'm doing it for me, right? There's a reason I'm doing it and that's my business.
Exactly.
Actually, I've never questioned somebody in the store that had sunglasses. Is that weird?
Oh, people do.
But I never questioned why does that person have sunglasses on? I just figured people wear I don't know. I have friends that wear sunglasses just because they never take them off.
Well, and you worry about yourself, but there's a whole group of people who
that
don't
worry about everybody else but them.
like when I've got my kids screaming and
Don't
crying,
say.
and they're like, "What's wrong with your kid? That kid needs some discipline," or they're rolling their eyes or whatever. And then I, explain like, "Hey, this was," and once again, this is when she was very little. Now she goes to the store. She's great at the store. Sometimes she doesn't want to go, so I don't make her go. But she has developed coping skills, where I have said, "What do you feel? Do you feel angry? Do you?" And we have the faces, what face
Yes.
do you feel? And okay,
You have a conversation about it. You're engaging her. You're not just avoiding the uncomfortable situation, but you're not completely just overly enabling her to stay home and avoid that social interaction either, right?
Going on here, like
No.
everything is the same across the board. She just gets talked to a little bit differently sometimes because I've got to go down with her a little bit.
Right.
That's the only difference.
So, I really kind of put myself out there when I made that video in Walmart because I truly was experiencing heightened anxiety apart from, the autism. But that was my first experience walking into that particular store, having changed. It threw my whole mood off. It threw my whole vibe off. It took me twice as long to get everything that I needed because I didn't know where anything was. I'm stressed about that. I'm stressed about why they put candy next to ketchup and mustard. I'm stressed. Yes, like there was no order or structure to how they put things, where they put things. It was just an overwhelming experience. I found myself going up and down aisles 2 and 3 and 4 times trying to make sure that, okay, now this is different. Now I need to remember where all this stuff is because it's new. It's changed. So now it's not just that things have changed. I need to know where this is. So next time I'm not spending extra time in here. My brain just was on complete overload. And I've never made a video like that before where like a personal experience in the moment kind of video. Anytime I've ever had something like that happen, it's a recap. Oh, I was at the grocery store earlier today and this, and this happened. And it really kind of threw me off. I was in the moment with the camera on my face and people walking up and down the aisles looking at me talking into my phone.
I loved that you did it right then and there.
You send me that video.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll send it to you.
It was a different experience for me, and I wanted it for myself. I wanted that moment for myself so I could go back and look at that later and see it from a different perspective, see it from someone watching the video, right? And I recently duetted that video and reposted it in a way, and it was tough watching that video. It was tough watching me, my own self, go through that experience because now I'm reliving it in my mind. I don't have a photographic memory or eidetic memory, but I'm reliving that experience in that moment. I remember where I was in the store when I was making that video with the phone in my face. It was odd. It was odd to watch myself experience that again.
And I have to say, when we're done with this podcast, I encourage everybody to go on YouTube and I'm going to watch it through, but just for me watching that 30 seconds that made me super emotional on that, and I felt uncomfortable, I now kind of understand what you're talking about because that video showed me how sensitive, like coins dropping on the ground. You're like,
yes,
oh, like
the wheel on the cart when it clicks too much.
So I'm gonna rabbit trail on this. So when you watch the video of me in Walmart with my phone, you'll hear all the white noise in the background. You'll hear a kid like squealing, right? You'll hear people walking by me talking. You'll hear carts rolling on the ground. You'll hear these things if you're paying attention. Like I can't ignore it because it was my experience, right? But if you pay attention, you'll hear all the background noise that my headphones picked up when I was making that video. And that is hand in hand with the video that you just watched, Ant, because it's not just your immediate senses. It's all the extra that's going on in the background, all the extra that's happening around you.
Well, it's like a super.
Every time I watch that video,
your senses are really, really heightened. And
right.
I would always notice with her, like she'd plug her ears and it's too loud. It's too loud because she could hear everything all at once.
It's overwhelming. But
have you ever had like a panic attack?
Yes, I have. Well, there's panic attacks and anxiety attacks. I have
like being overstimulated. Like, is it like the same kind of sensation as like an anxiety?
I get sweaty. I get clammy hands. I get, I my forehead, I sweat. If you ever watch a video of me and I happen to have my hand on my forehead like this, that is a telltale sign that I'm going through something.
Yeah.
That is me lacking a poker face, right? Like if I played poker and I'm touching my forehead, I'm going to lose the bet because I'm just.
But does it feel similar? Like just for those of everybody who's trying to like kind of get a grasp on it, like a sensory overload, does it feel similar to an anxiety attack?
I mean, I've had an anxiety attack that was awful. And that was more of like, they're very similar. Mm-hmm. I can only speak for myself. It's very hard to explain how they're different, because it's just, they can be very similar, but they can be very different too. Like, when I had that anxiety attack that was very bad, I was sweating. I had clammy hands. My heart was racing. Mm-hmm. I was experiencing medical symptoms of an anxiety attack, right? Beyond just the fear, the mental aspect of it. But sensory overload, I would say, is similar, but for me, pain isn't the right way, but more uncomfortable.
Okay.
More of like, I don't want to be here right now. It's the fight or flight kind of thing.
Right. That's what I was just going to say. So it's like fight or flight.
I don't want to be here right now. I need to leave. Yeah. I need to get out. I have left a cart full of groceries in Walmart in the middle of an aisle and left because
with anxiety,
because of sensory overload, because of being uncomfortable, because of this is too much. I can't be here. There's too many people in the way. I can't get where I need to be.
Yeah.
This experience right now is too much. And then as soon as I'm out of that environment, as soon as I walk out the door and the fresh air hits me and I'm in my car, I'm fine. I'm fine. It is literally over that fast. But for me, with an anxiety attack, it is a much longer come down from that, right? The sensory overload, I can be over that as soon as I'm in a different environment. As soon as I'm, again, like if I'm at Walmart and I'm pushing my cart and I leave it and I walk out the door, it's over with. Any store out of town, I literally can't go to Walmart by myself. It's a struggle. It really is. And it's one of those things, I know we're kind of harping on the grocery store thing, but it's one of those things where it's a neurotypical society that autistic people have to adapt to. And it's just so ingrained in culture, so ingrained in the way things are, that the way we react to those things and what would benefit us in those things isn't even taken into consideration. It's not even on the radar.
Convenience any of the rest of us. Like that's what makes it so angering to me, is that those small little things that we could do, like it doesn't drastically change a neurotypical person's life.
Walmart's a multi-billion-dollar corporation. Would it really be that inconvenient for them to hold focus groups with autistic people and people with special needs to see, survey, run a model in one store, have an autistic person go through there, have someone with anxiety go through there, have someone with sensory overload go through there and see how they respond, see how they react, see what happens, and then make changes based on that. And then you can roll it out. But we don't do that. We don't think about it.
But what I do, what I can appreciate is like Allie and Neil came home the other day and Neil was like, I had to learn about Allie today. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, it's Allie's month. And then she's like, what? It's mine? I'm autism? And I was like, well, you're not autism. But yes, like you you are on the spectrum. It's the first time I've ever said it to her.
Mhm.
What was today? Like, and it kind of caught me off guard because I'm like, we've never had this conversation. She's like, well, what does that mean? That just means that your brain's more special and works differently. And, you know, we do this awareness so that other people, it's easier for them to understand you, because then they think they know a little bit more about you, and then we can adjust. And I will say that I do like that the school systems now are doing this, like during Autism Awareness Month. And that is great, because hopefully these kiddos will remember this. And then those kids will be the kids that lead the focus groups that do the things. But I kind of wish that we could do something like now.
So one thing you just mentioned brought up something I saw on Facebook the other day. So a sheriff's department that's local to me made a post about Autism Awareness Acceptance Month, however you want to refer to it. But they had taken, they had taken these kits to local schools, but they're kits where you take a piece of fabric and you like rub it on yourself to get your scent on the fabric, and then you put that piece of fabric in a like an evidence grade container.
Yes.
That way, if my child goes missing and wanders off and we can't find them, the canine unit from the law enforcement office can access that piece of fabric and you have a better chance at locating that person who's wandered off. And it's not just for people with autism. It can be for elderly people who wander off and get lost, or, many different kinds of situations. But specifically, they brought these kits to the schools for the kids with autism so that their families would have these things. And I thought that was,
if you didn't know this, like, it is a risk, a very high risk factor with kiddos on the spectrum and adults on the spectrum is wandering. And for some reason, they're usually drawn to water for some unknown reason. A lot of times, it's usually kiddos that do it. It's usually the entities that do it. They'll get up, they'll leave their house, and they'll go and they'll walk right out into the water, and that's it. It's very. I didn't know if you had ever heard that too with the water. Like
I'm aware of that.
It's I hate to say interesting, because it's not interesting, but
it's captivating, and I don't know what the draw is to water, but I have heard that is a very strong draw for some reason. I don't know if it's got to do with seeing the waves and the reflections, or if it's I don't know, but I am aware that children with autism do wander. It is a thing, and they are drawn to water. It is common. I mean, they wouldn't make these kits and push these efforts to solve the time it takes to get these people who have wandered found, right? Doing a kit with a piece of fabric that has that scent would drastically reduce the amount of time it would take to find somebody. Go ahead.
So Ames is wondering, like, advice.
Okay.
She has a kiddo on the spectrum.
Okay.
She's him being social is difficult. He doesn't like to engage in activities, but she's feeling like kind of at a loss and wondering what some advice would be. He likes to be alone. He doesn't like to talk about his feelings. And she's struggling a lot right now. And I'm wondering if you have any advice for her with this.
I would say I can give my personal experience.
I'm sorry, Ames, I didn't see it.
I can give my personal experience, right? When I was a teenager, when I was young, when I was little, when I was a kid, and even now, I am very introverted. I'm very much to myself. but not all people with autism are introverted. There are some very extroverted people with autism who will love on you, and they're the most extroverted, emotionally expressive people you'll ever meet in your entire life. That is not me. I'm very introverted. I'm very stone faced. I'm very, I don't speak with a monotone, but I can sometimes when I'm feeling a very low, flat effect, and I'm just not feeling very social. I mean, I don't crave social interaction like some people might, and he might not either. It may be beneficial to find out what his personality type is. It may be beneficial to find out, is he truly introverted? Is he extroverted? Learn more about him. Have questions and, or have conversations, ask him questions about things. He may not want to talk about his feelings, but he may talk about why he feels a certain way. He may tell you a story about something that made him feel uncomfortable. And from that, you can glean certain information, right? I'm a parent myself. It is difficult to communicate with my children sometimes because they don't understand why I may be a certain way at a certain time. Like if they're all at each other and that throws me off, I'm more prone to shutting into myself. I'm more prone to just shutting down and being like, okay, you guys, y'all go at each other, and when you're done, we can talk, because I don't want to overreact and scare my children. I don't want to wear that in front of them. So I go out of my way to protect their experience and protect their fragile childlike state, because they don't understand why I may react to a certain thing a certain way. And I think it's important to have conversations with your children about why they feel the way they feel. Autism or not, ADHD or not, whatever. Communicate with your children. Talk to them. Ask them questions, why they feel the way they feel, what they're going through. They may not talk to you. They may not want to. But that's
video games. Sit down, play video games with them. Because
right.
I'm telling you, with my husband's son, he's a teenager, was angsty, not want to talk to anybody, all angry,
lone wolf kind of thing.
Oh yeah, very angsty, very emotional, like in his room with like his books and his games, and I'm alone. But if I would go and I would sit in that room and play video games with him, after about 15, 20 minutes, they can't help but talk to you. They will start talking to you. Like, go and do his thing, whatever his thing is that he's hyper focused on. Go. Yes. Remove yourself from this world and put yourself in his. Like, go into his world for a little bit, and that might help him talk to you more.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, especially if he's on the spectrum. If he is autistic, I don't know. I assume he is, because she asked the question and she asked me for advice. So I can't see the comments that are scrolling right now, so I don't know what the conversation is. The username is familiar to me. I've seen that username before. I know she's a mutual of mine on TikTok. Let's see, what is this? Anybody have advice?
This is for nonverbal. The PEC system is great. Great.
Admittedly, this is out of my league. I am less educated on nonverbal autism as I should be. That is a goal of mine, to learn more about that. Because it is so different. It is just a different animal altogether. And it is something that is challenging on a different level than what we're talking about, because it's challenging for the person and it's challenging for the people that they interact with. Nonverbal does not mean non-intelligent. There can be an extremely intelligent person there who says nothing.
Yep. Or if you have speech apraxia, that hasn't really been discovered yet. That was the problem with my daughter. Once we figured out that it was speech apraxia, started working with her, and now she talks nonstop. And at one point, she was considered nonverbal because she still wasn't talking at 3.
going back to what you said about do what they're interested in. One of my children has become obsessed with Rubik's Cubes and solving Rubik's Cubes to the point that that's like the only thing I got him for Christmas was Rubik's Cube stuff. And he has, by watching YouTube, taught himself how to solve Rubik's Cubes extremely fast. He can solve a 2x2 in like 10 to 15 seconds. He can solve a 3x3 in under 30 seconds. Like it's amazing.
It is.
But he will talk my head off about that and nothing else. Right? He will tell me everything, and I'm sitting here like, I don't know how my own child taught himself this, and yet I'm a self-taught guitarist. I taught myself how to play guitar at 15, but I can't fathom how my 11-year-old son taught himself how to solve a Rubik's Cube in less than 30 seconds. I don't get it.
It's like C Bunny is in my head because I'm like, okay, we're like 5-6 minutes out for the live, and this was actually pretty similar to what I was going to ask you for like the last question.
Anything I want the government to improve for the autistic community. I mean,
even if it's one small thing, if you could change one small thing that like Grandpa Biden could sign in right now, something at a small scale that would like positively.
That's a hard question for me because I don't want government involved in anything. I want government out.
What could we then switch out government for community? Because I'm the same as you, less government. So like, what could we as a community start doing that you think like in your like that would help positively or make a change positively in the right direction?
Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to have conversations. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to learn new things. Be open-minded as much as you possibly can be. I know that's very broad. I'm painting with a broad brush right now, but the only way things are going to change is by education. And one of the best ways to get education is to talk to people and to ask questions and to just listen when someone is speaking to you. If you ask me a question about autism, listen to my answer. Soak it up. You don't have to do what I say. You don't have to make the changes that I suggest. But if you ask me a question, I'm going to give you an answer. Be open to that answer and try and make a change. Try and make, be accommodating to the new information that you've been presented with. I think that's the best thing I can say is, don't participate in the culture that has existed by shutting people with autism out. Include us in things. Missy's son, Parker, was recently included in something in school that he did not have to be included in. They did not have to include him, and yet they did. Mm-hmm. And that simple act of kindness made an impact on her. And I'm sure it made an impact on Parker. And I think that things like that are very, very important. Include people. Just include people and be open-minded. Listen when people tell you things. Educate yourself. There's no harm in that.
I couldn't agree more. Adam, where can we find you? What are your socials? Give us all your socials.
Oh my gosh. So my primary social with you guys it has been TikTok for a while now. I am on IG, but I don't post personal stuff there. I just post memes and goofy pictures I find and things like that. That is linked in my TikTok bio. And I have YouTube, but I don't really post a lot there. It's really to watch you guys and to watch Ship and to watch, Full Send with Wyatt. I watch you guys. So I have YouTube, but it's more for watching content than for making content.
Ames, you can reach out to me too. Over on Insta is the best way to get me.
Yep. But guys, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
I could have talked for another hour or two if you'd let me.
I'll just bring you on again.
I would love to come on again.
Yeah.
Maybe tell my story, talk about whatever, maybe have an open forum. You can just open the floor up to questions and we can just, I can rattle off answers or whatever. I would love to do this again. You guys are amazing. Ant, I miss you on TikTok.
I miss you too, buddy. But you have my phone number. You can reach out to me.
I know.
Yeah,
I
we
got-
came back out of nowhere the other day, and we're like, not a good time.
I thought about it for a second. I know.
not yet. No.
Like, I'm not gonna do it. I was just thinking about it.
I did it. No, I'm just kidding.
But look, guys, I love you guys so much. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being open to doing this and having this discussion.
Of course.
Of course.
You know, it's an amazing opportunity that you guys gave me to come and have this discussion with you, and I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Hey, Adam, I would like to do an IG live with you one day, so I'll reach out to you about that.
Heck yeah.
Oh, I want to
Anytime.
Yeah,
Anytime.
we could do this on IG live because I think we could reach maybe a lot more people.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm open to that.
On every single platform. Get it.
Yes.
So I just really want to say before we, like, to everybody, I encourage you to pop off of here and just take, like, that video kind of opened my mind up. Not that every autistic person, because we've learned that every single one is different, but I think that some of it, and then with your story with the grocery store, like, really clicked things in my mind. And then I was thinking about it, and I used to always talk crap about Target real quick because they don't play music in their stores.
Right.
I low-key think that maybe Target doesn't play music in their stores because they might be an advocate for people with autism.
Do you ever realize that Target's carts are plastic the whole way around? They're much lighter. They aren't as loud. They're not as rattly. Their store is a more open plan.
And now it's kind of clicking to me, so I think that they might be more autism friendly.
I will say this.
But
I will say this. I've never, that I can recall, I've never experienced a sensory moment in Target.
I'm trying to think.
I don't know if that has anything to do with it.
I've never even had anxiety in Target.
But I do love what Kat said about the carts. I didn't think about that. They don't rattle. They don't shift and move. They're very light. They're very smooth. They roll very well.
And their aisles,
all of that kind of stuff kind of plays into it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Very sensory.
Their aisles are extremely large, and everything is very organized in terms of store.
Yes.
It feels like an autistic person set that store up, if I'm going to be honest. Like, it does kind of feel like the organization, the order, the structure, like everything in Target makes sense.
I'm going to do some digging in a Target.
I'm interested in that.
Well, when you guys were talking and I was on my phone, I was Googling stuff about Target to see if it had anything to do with autism. I had tapped into an article, but I'm going to find more information out because I think that Target probably does do that for their stores for autism. Like, I feel like they have a bigger
more sensory happy. That's good for everybody.
When I go to Walmart, I mean, let's not even mention the people that shop sometimes at Walmart, but like the store, Walmart itself is like extremely. I have anxiety sometimes.
Yeah, Walmart's a rough.
I can only imagine. And then I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, every time I go to Target, I really want to shop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, dude,
comfortable.
Like, yeah. So
that might explain why people spend so much money in Target. You go in for toothpaste and you come out spending $300, and you have no idea why you spent $300, right?
I'm just saying.
But
yes, I agree on the line of quote. We can go off on another tangent. I agree.
All right, we're closing it down. Just because Dad's gone doesn't mean that we gotta like misbehave.
I do want to say this before we shut this down.
Absolutely.
I do have the fundraiser linked in my bio. It'll be there for the rest of the month, and I have thought about this for about a week and a half now. If I meet my goal, my $2,000 goal on my fundraiser, I'm going to match that at the end of May to Lemire. Wow. So I'm coming into some money at the end of the month of May. And I'm committed. if we meet my goal, my $2,000 goal before the end of the month, I will provide receipts for $2,000 to go to Lemire.
I like this. Let's
It
get
will
you
it will be at the end of the May.
Yeah.
At the end of May, once I have my funds secured, but I'm prepared to publicly commit to that. So if we meet my goal, I will do that.
I'm here for that.
I want to put the Lemire fundraiser up real quick. I know we didn't touch on that today. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be posting that video on my IG. I just wanted to have the full day rather than posting it at night. So y'all go check out this this video on Kat. I think posted it on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's on my it's on my TikTok.
Yeah. You saw the video at the beginning of the podcast.
Yep, we're actually going to close you out with it again, so be prepared for that. It will be played again at the very end, so that you guys can all Cash App info.
Just when I think I love you, I fucking love. Excuse my language. Love you even more, dude. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to coming on with you guys again. And anytime you want me to come live on IG, just connect with me. I would love to go live with you there.
And this is the one time that I'm going to bring followers into the mix. Like, we can talk to like 95,000.
And then send it to me. Send it to me, and I'll share it too, and I'll hop in there too. We'll make it.
Like, I want to bring you on too because you.
I don't like being seen with you on Instagram.
Okay, well, forget it. Can Neil sit in? Because I'm like, Neil and I are buddies. Neil's her son is like my favorite kid.
He's crazy. I'm totally kidding. I'll totally go live on IG.
I know. All right, guys.
Thank you for tuning in.
Adam, hang back. Don't log off.
Okay.
I have no idea who's on next week. Tex usually announces that. So yeah, okay. Enjoy Lemire's video again. All right, see you guys next week.
Good night, guys.
And I won't back down. Hey, baby, there ain't no easy way out. Hey, baby, I won't back down.
Guys, it's Lemire again. And I'm in the hospital, but I just want to know, I love you guys, and I love the hard work you've been doing. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for doing a good job, for doing hard work for me.